Howdy, my name is Hudson Deer, and I'm going to start by explaining to you the history problem. So, I'm going to be looking at my notes just so I can remember everything I need to say, and also looking at the Excel document just so I can talk about it. So, whenever I first opened this problem, I was kind of overwhelmed by information, but I really right when I opened it, I wanted to break it down and make sure I knew what all the terms meant. So I started off by going word by word on the doc of what was there and just kind of overlooking it. And I found out what the cost was. And then I found cost was just what the transportation cost was going to be. And then the forward value is what the market expected the spread to be. The receipt is what what it was going to enter the market at. And then delivery is what the product actually sold for. So when I'm first looking at this, there's a lot of numbers, and right off the bat, I notice how receipt B, delivery B, pipeline B is all 4.5s. But then I wanted to get an average of what the historical data was, because there's only these numbers given, and there's nothing like weather or any other factors like that I could have looked at. So I just wanted to see what the averages were. So that's the very first thing I calculated. Was I added up the totals, got the averages in Excel, and that gave me all, which I put on there, my receipt averages on the right, my delivery averages, and my spread averages. So I found out that the spread was just going to be the difference in each one and what the average of that was. So whenever I noticed that my delivery averages for B were 4.762, so I scrolled in there and I found that for B, because originally B just looks like a consistent, like it's going to be the same, almost like there's no way you could, it's just going to stay the same. So I found that there's a strange $100 delivery in cells 1778 to 1782. And immediately this threw me off. I did not want to invest in pipeline B because I felt like that was, even though it looked stable, I felt like that was just kind of banking on the fact that 100 was going to come in to help you with your spread. So then I'm really starting to look at A and C. Well, then I just start going in and looking at different ones. And I'm seeing everything I really saw from receipt A was pretty a positive from receipt to delivery. For example, the spread was 0.025 and then it was 0.023 for spread C. But then I also looked at the forward value, which was the expected spread from the market. And then I felt like personally that the expected spread for pipeline C was really low compared to what the actual spread average was. I'm going to try and keep it short for time, but the actual spread average, I just didn't like. It felt too risky to me whenever I looked. So I felt like personally I would invest in pipeline A because it was pretty neutral and it looked like everything met the requirements, and we were just going to get, it was pretty consistent, not super volatile, and it was just going to give me a consistent spread with lower volatility, which I liked. I didn't want something to go crazy. Next, I'm going to talk about the beer can question number 2. So I actually have a lot of research and data on this one that I wasn't able to put into my Excel sheet. But so where I began was, I was like, okay, who sells beer? Or who would have beer cans with them? What I came up with was homes, gas stations, fraternities, and other campus organizations, because this is right before a tailgate, and also the weather is really good. This does affect it slightly just because if it was raining, there may not be the same amount of supply coming in. Establishments like restaurants and things, retail stores, which is just going to be, your Walmart, Costco's, and then also liquor stores. So I want to really explain kind of how I came to the conclusions that I came for each one. We're going to start with homes. I did some research and found that there were about 90,000 people above the age, and then some of these numbers are rounded, so they're not all exact, above the age of 18 to 65 in College Station area. I assume that there's about 2.2 adults living in each of those. There'd be about 2.2 per house, which gave me about 41,000 people per 41,000 homes or residences in College Station. I assumed on average there'd be about 6 beers per house. The reason I did that is because some people don't drink, some people drink a lot. So basically that helped me come to the conclusion that there were about Where's that at? There were going to be about 246,000 cans for that. And then gas stations, I actually, during this problem set, ran to a gas station. It's about a minute away from my house. And so there's a lot of gas stations. I looked it up and found that there were 115 gas stations in College Station. There were about 8 shelves and about 3 to 6 doors, depending on how large the gas station was per gas station. And on each one of those is about 10 by 5 cans that you could actually see. So that 10 by 5, I assumed there was going to be about 1,800, but then I also had 1,800 per door. So then I also had to add in the back stock, which was just what's in the back. And I came to about 3,150 cans per station once I did all that math, which is in the Excel. And if I multiplied that by 115, I then came to 362,250 unopened beer cans in the gas stations that are in the College Station area. And then we're going to go to fraternities and organizations, which this was a pretty simple one for me. I'm in an organization. I help set up our tailgates. We buy the beer before, so I knew about how much there should be, which was going to be about 1,500. I assumed about 40 organizations or frats, which was 60,000. And then establishments, I got the number from Tab's report. I assumed 15% of the Tab's total sales was actually going to be from canned beer, just based off research. And then some of my friends are bartenders, and I called them how much canned beer they had on average, which came out to $240,000 dollar per can, about 240,000 there. And then for Costco, I did the same thing kind of with a gas station, but off of pallets. Sorry, I can't explain it as much. Time is low. I did it same on pallets, and my total math came to 475,750, but that was over 11 gas stations. And then I kind of broke it down to Costco, H-E-B's, Brookshires, Kroger's. And then finally we have liquor stores, same thing for gas stations. Thank you very much. I'm out of time.